Ever wondered why dating feels like a chess match? Maybe it's because it's a game of strategy, just like game theory. Welcome, folks, to an exciting exploration into the world of dating, where we'll be unmasking the strategic nuances that are more common than you might think. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is game theory? Well, it's a fascinating branch of mathematics that studies strategic situations where players choose different actions in an attempt to maximize their returns. Imagine a game of poker. It's not just about the cards you're dealt, but also how you play them, right? That's game theory in a nutshell. Making strategic decisions based on the possible actions of others. Now let's take a step back and think about dating. Isn't it similar? You're making decisions not just based on your feelings, but also considering how the other person might react. You're trying to maximize your chances of a successful date, right? That's where game theory comes into play. Think about it. That moment when you're deciding whether to text back immediately or play it cool, isn't that a strategic decision? Or let's say, you're contemplating whether to go all out and express your feelings or play it safe to avoid potential heartbreak. Sounds complex? That's because it is, just like game theory. But don't worry, we're not here to complicate things. Instead, we're here to add a dash of humor to this complexity, and maybe, just maybe, help you navigate the tricky world of dating a bit better. So whether you're a hopeless romantic, a strategic dater, or someone who's just trying to figure it all out, this journey is for you. We'll be delving into the fun, and sometimes nerve-wracking scenarios that make the dating game what it is, all the while drawing parallels with game theory. So buckle up, and prepare to dive into the strategic world of dating game theory style. First things first, flirting. It's like the opening move in a chess game, isn't it? Now let's dive into the realm of strategic flirting. Imagine flirting as a game of chess. Both you and your opponent are trying to outmaneuver each other, each move carefully calculated, each response anticipated. This is where game theory comes into play. Game theory is a fascinating concept that examines how people make decisions. It's all about strategy, and it can be applied to flirting too. Take the concept of best response in game theory. This is when you make a move that gives you the highest payoff, given what you think your opponent will do. So, how does this translate to flirting? Well, let's say you're at a party and you spot someone you're interested in. You could go in all guns blazing, spilling your life story within the first 5 minutes. But if you've been observing them, reading their body language, and gauging their reactions, you might realize that a subtler approach could yield a better response. This is strategic flirting, choosing your actions based on your best guess of how the other person will react. It's about finding that sweet spot between being too forward and being too reserved. But remember, it's not just about your moves. Anticipating the reactions of the other person is just as important. If you make a joke, will they laugh? If you compliment them, will they blush or will they seem uncomfortable? These are the types of questions you should be asking yourself. Now, this may seem like a lot to consider, especially when you're in the heat of the moment. But with practice, it becomes second nature. You'll start to notice patterns and cues, and your flirting game will be all the more strategic because of it. And let's not forget, the unexpected can also be part of the fun. Flirting is a dynamic, fluid process, and sometimes your best-laid plans may go awry. That's okay, it's all part of the game. Remember, in the game of love, you've got to think 2 steps ahead. Now let's talk about the age-old tactic of playing hard to get. Is it a winning strategy? Well, to answer that, let's dive into the world of game theory, and more specifically the concept of Nash equilibrium. Named after the mathematician John Nash, a Nash equilibrium is a situation in which no player in a game can gain an advantage by changing their strategy, given that the other players keep theirs unchanged. In essence, it's a state of balance, where everyone is making the best decisions they can based on what they know about the other's decisions. Now, how does this relate to playing hard to get? Imagine the dating game as, well, a game. You and your potential partner are the players. Both of you have strategies, and both of you are trying to win. If you're playing hard to get, your strategy is to appear less interested than you actually are, in the hope that this will make you more desirable. From a game theory perspective, this can be a winning strategy under certain conditions. It can create a sense of mystery and intrigue, which can make you seem more attractive. It can also signal that you have high standards, which can increase your perceived value. But there's a catch. If you play too hard to get, you risk sending the message that you're not interested at all. This could lead the other player to change their strategy and pursue someone else. And there you have it. The Nash equilibrium has shifted, and not in your favor. On the flip side, if you're too easy to get, you might be perceived as desperate or lacking in self-esteem. Again, the balance shifts, and you could end up losing the game. So, What's the takeaway here? Playing hard to get can be an effective strategy, but only if it's done right. It's all about balance and subtlety. Too much, and you risk pushing the other person away. Too little, and you might not spark their interest. Playing hard to get might be an effective strategy, but only when done right. Just like in game theory, balance is key. Who should make the first move? It's a dilemma as old as dating itself. Let's take a detour into the world of game theory, where we can unearth some strategic insights for this age-old question. The concept we're exploring today is the first mover advantage. Now you may be thinking, is this a chess tutorial? Not quite. But just like in a chess match, making the first move in dating can set the tone for the entire game. In game theory, the first mover advantage suggests that the player who makes the first move in a game can potentially secure a superior position. Now, how does this translate to dating? Well, when you make the first move, you take charge of the narrative. You're setting the pace, you're showing initiative, and you're demonstrating confidence. All attractive qualities. Let's take a hypothetical scenario. Imagine you're at a party and you spot someone across the room who catches your eye. You could wait for them to come over, but what if they're also waiting for you to make the first move? You could end up in a stalemate, each waiting for the other, and the opportunity could slip away. Making the first move can cut through this tension. It can show that you're interested and that you're not afraid to take a chance. It can break the ice, open up a conversation, and potentially lead to a deeper connection. But let's not forget, every strategy comes with risks. Making the first move puts you in a vulnerable position. There's always the possibility of rejection. However, it's important to remember that rejection is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a part of the dating game. It's a risk that comes with the potential reward of a meaningful relationship. It's a balancing act, weighing the potential benefits against the risks. Is the first mover advantage always the best strategy in dating? Not necessarily, but it can often tip the scales in your favor. So the next time you're wondering whether or not to make the first move, remember, it's all about strategy. So you've successfully navigated the dating game using game theory, but how can it help in maintaining a long-term relationship? Well, the good news is, game theory isn't just applicable in the early stages of dating. It becomes even more valuable when we consider long-term relationships. Let's delve into how we can apply these strategic concepts to make love last. In game theory, we often talk about cooperative games. Now, I'm not suggesting you turn your relationship into a game of Monopoly, but the principles are still relevant. A cooperative game is one where players can form alliances or partnerships to maximize their benefits. Sounds a bit like a long-term relationship, doesn't it? Let's say, for instance, you and your partner have a disagreement on where to go for vacation. You want to hit the beach, they want to explore the mountains. Using game theory, you both have two strategies: compromise or stand firm. If both of you stand firm, neither will enjoy the vacation. If one compromises, the other gets their choice, but at the cost of their partner's happiness. However, if both of you compromise, you might end up finding a location that has both a beach and mountains, making it a win-win situation. This is where the concept of cooperative games comes into play. By working together and understanding each other's preferences, you can reach a solution that benefits both parties. It's all about finding the balance between individual desires and shared happiness. And remember, conflicts are inevitable in any relationship. But if approached strategically with the principles of game theory, they can be managed effectively. It's not about winning or losing, but about understanding, compromising, and making decisions that benefit the relationship as a whole. Long-term relationships, like any cooperative game, require teamwork, strategy, and a mutual understanding of each other's goals. It's about navigating the game together, making decisions that will maximize happiness for both players. In the end, whether it's dating or a long-term relationship, game theory can provide a strategic approach to love. Remember, it's all just a game of hearts. And that's a wrap on game theory and dating. We've navigated the intricate maze of the dating game, flirted strategically, played hard to get, made the first move, and even sustained long-term relationships, all with the help of game theory. If you found this video helpful and enlightening, be sure to hit that like button. It lets us know that we're providing valuable content and helps us reach more people like you. If you have friends who are navigating the dating world or trying to maintain a long-term relationship, feel free to share this video with them. Who knows, game theory might just be the secret weapon they need. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We've got plenty more content on game theory and a variety of other topics coming your way. Remember, love is a game, and with game theory you're always one step ahead. Like, share and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep playing the game of love.